canvas. And so this is a 5th century mosaic. There's a couple things that are unique about it, and one valuable thing for us is if you look in the middle, you'll see the tower. We'll come back to that in a second. There's 2 figures, top right, male figure representing, if you will, representing the Nile, mouth of the Nile. It's male figure over there, and you see the Nile flowing out of it and flowing down across the middle of the scene. And you see in there fish and wildlife around the Nile. In fact, all of it is the animals around the Nile. Over on the left-hand side with the cornucopia, you see the female figure that, the abundance that the Nile produces. In the middle, you see a tower. There are 3 of them in Egypt. They're called Nileometers that measure the height of the Nile. You're dependent, if the Nile gets flooded, now you're going to have a lot of crops. And so your tax rate is often connected with how well the Nile does. And so here, there's 3, one at Bet Shan, one at Tabqa, and one at here. But this is the only one that goes as far as 17. If you look at the numbers, if you do the Greek counting, 15, 16, 17. In fact, the guy with a chisel there is carving 17 in the top because it's like, hey, it's never been this high before, so we got to put 17 up there. Down below the Nile, you see a messenger hurrying off on the horse here, carrying a torch, and you see the number 17 again. Like the message carrying over to Alexandria, and you see Alexandria labeled there, and the lighthouse, which is Pharos, it was one of the wonders of the world, at Alexandria, and they're going to tell them at Alexandria that the Nile has reached 17. This is really good news. You see also the monument, just to the right of it, of the horse running off here, again with somebody on top of the monument, and 17. Like, this is a big deal. You got to 17. So the rest of it is either hunting scenes or wildlife scenes from around the Nile. But it has the whole floor, but it shows you how closely, where we're at, how closely you're tied to Egypt. One more time. Something kind of cute over here. You got a leopard that's chasing either rabbits or mice, and one of the little creatures has decided he's just going to jump out of the picture altogether. I think the little signs around tell you about the color of the tessera. Tessera is the little individual stones. But if you notice, the shading is quite kind of fascinating also as they do this. There's other, you can take a look at this one and some of the other mosaics around. If you're an art person, this is kind of fun to see 5th century stuff. This is called, they refer to this as the Nile house or the Nileometer house, or at times the tax house, because the tax is referred to as related to the rise of the Nile. All right, so you can read some of the signs around, look at some of the mosaics that are around, and then we're going to gather over on that far side over past the wagon, and then we'll head up to the upper city.